Did you know about some of the world's most unfortunate megaprojects? From Germany's biggest construction disaster and a nuclear power plant that generated just 1 hour of electricity in 2 decades, to India's Twin Towers, which became the tallest buildings ever voluntarily demolished in the country. These projects took some truly unfortunate turns. Germany's worst construction project. After the Berlin Wall fell in 1990, Berlin had 3 old but still working airports, each located in what used to be separate parts of the city. To centralize the city and unify its air travel, officials planned to build a new, larger airport to replace the existing ones. This new airport, called Berlin-Brandenburg Airport, was supposed to be the only commercial airport for the entire city. It was owned and operated by a company jointly owned by the states of Berlin and Brandenburg, along with the German federal government. Construction on the airport started in September 2006, and it was originally planned to open October 30, 2011. But due to some delays, the opening date was moved to June 3, 2012. Everything seemed to be going as planned, with retail outlets, airlines, and volunteers preparing for the big day. However, just 26 days before the planned opening in June 2012, they announced another delay. This time, it was because of fire safety concerns and technical issues related to the smoke exhaust system. The airport's fire prevention system, including alarms, sprinklers, and exhausts, was a mess. Some alarms didn't work at all, while others worked in the wrong places. Rather than further delaying the opening, they came up with the bizarre idea of hiring hundreds of fire spotters to temporarily replace the dysfunctional fire alarms. Unsurprisingly, this solution didn't meet safety standards, and the opening was delayed again. Many more problems kept arising during the years of delay. Wiring had to be rerouted, doors were numbered incorrectly, and there weren't enough check-in desks. Walls had to be torn down and rebuilt, and there was even a bribery scandal involving a former airport manager. At one point, hundreds of TV displays inside the terminals broke because they were left running when the airport wasn't even open to the public. After 10 different delays spanning 14 years, the Berlin-Brandenburg Airport finally opened to the public on October 31, 2020, amid the COVID-19 pandemic, making its debut challenging. The most useless power plant ever constructed. Now, let's talk about the second project. The most useless power plant ever constructed. The Monju nuclear power plant was meant to be a source of nuclear energy security for the Japanese people. It was proposed for construction in 1983, located in central Japan's Fukui Prefecture. The idea behind it was to develop a new technology to reduce Japan's reliance on importing nuclear fuel. This power plant was one of 2 prototype reactors designed to use spent fuel, such as plutonium from regular nuclear reactors, which would cut down on nuclear waste and provide a reliable power source for Japan's growing economy. Construction began in 1986, and things were going well until 1994, when the plant's nuclear reactor reached a critical state, making it self-sustaining. In August 1995, the plant officially opened, with the Power Reactor and Nuclear Fuel Development Corporation in charge of operations. However, shortly after the inauguration, there was a coolant leak that caused a fire, leading to a temporary shutdown. This incident marked the beginning of a series of problems and controversies that would plague the plant for years. The coolant leak was blamed on a weak point in one of the pipes, and it wasn't radioactive. But the company in charge tried to cover it up, falsifying reports, and even issuing a gag order. In 2000, there were plans to restart Monju, but the public strongly opposed it. After a 5-year legal battle, the Japanese Supreme Court allowed the plant to reopen. Still, it faced delays, moving the restart to 2010 due to holes in one of the auxiliary buildings. The situation worsened as the new fuel loaded in 2008 had already decayed, making criticality impossible without expensive replacement. Monju became partially operational in May 2010, but only 3 months later, a 3-ton piece of equipment meant for refueling fell into one of the reactor vessels, taking authorities almost a year to retrieve it. Subsequent incidents related to maintenance and management practices further clouded the plant's future. The Fukushima incident in 2011 caused the Japanese government to reconsider its nuclear policy due to public resistance. Over 2 decades since Monju's commissioning, and a cost of over $8.5 billion, the power plant provided usable power to the Japanese grid for just 1 hour. In 2016, the Japanese government decided to decommission the Monju nuclear power plant, a process expected to take 30 years and an additional $2.6 billion to complete. It turned out to be a costly investment that brought them nothing in return, causing them to waste billions of dollars and decades of time on a virtually useless project. The demolition of India's Twin Towers. Now let's talk about the top project, the demolition of India's Twin Towers. Noida, a planned city in India's national capital region near New Delhi, has experienced rapid growth, making it one of the country's wealthiest regions. Supertech Limited, a major player in India's real estate industry, was behind the Noida Supertech Twin Towers. These twin residential high-rise buildings were meant to be the centerpiece of Supertech's Emerald Court residential complex, which includes amenities like a clubhouse, gym, swimming pool, and a jogging track. The towers, named the Apex and Cyan Towers, were designed to be 40 floors tall, making them the tallest structures in the complex, offering sweeping views of Noida and New Delhi. Construction began in 2005 with the plan for 14 nine-story buildings serving both residential and commercial purposes. However, in 2009, the plan changed without residents' knowledge, and the complex would now feature 15 11-story buildings and 2 significantly taller towers, the Apex and Cyan Towers. Emerald Court's residents, who were initially promised luxurious apartments with open-air city views, were understandably upset when they noticed that an area designated for a shopping complex and green space seemed to be the foundations for high-rise residential buildings. In 2014, the High Court ruled in favor of the residents, citing a violation of the National Building Code, which required residential towers to have at least 16 meters of separation, compared to the mere 9 meters between the Twin Towers and a neighboring residential building. Supertech challenged the ruling and took the legal battle to India's Supreme Court. After 9 years of legal disputes, in August 2021, the Supreme Court upheld the 2014 ruling, confirming the demolition of the Noida Supertech Twin Towers. On August 28, 2022, after around 10 seconds and the strategic placement of approximately 3,700 kilograms of explosives, the 100-meter towers, which contained about 850 flats, were intentionally demolished. This event marked the country's tallest structure ever to be voluntarily demolished. It's a remarkable story of a project that went through significant legal disputes and ended in the dramatic demolition of the Twin Towers. Thank you so much for joining us in today's video. We hope you found it informative and entertaining. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to hit that like button below. It really helps us out. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to our channel. You can do that by clicking the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell, so you won't miss any of our future uploads. And of course, if you have any thoughts, questions, or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. Just drop a comment in the section below. We do our best to respond to as many comments as possible.